Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the RacePlazaMedia podcast.
Yes.
My name is Milan.
My name is Pia.
And this weekend, we had the pleasure, a little bit more me than you, of watching half of the 12-hour Bathurst race.
Yes.
I was working Saturday, so when I came home and turned it on, I had exactly 6 hours left.
Which is kind of perfect because since it is in Australia with the time change, it worked out nicely that you could watch it on a Saturday evening, essentially, or at least the last 6 hours of it.
Saturday afternoon into the evening.
Yeah.
That was really, really great. And when I had turned it on, there was like a safety car, so everything was kind of neutralized. And I would say overall, it was a fantastic race.
Yes.
I think it was really, really awesome. Like going down to like the last hour, the last like 10 minutes, we had, I think, the top 13 cars all within the same lap.
Which is really impressive for a 12-hour race. It's really, really impressive. And we saw some, I mean, the bits that I watched with you, which I did watch at least like 2 to 3 hours of it.
Yeah, you were there for a good chunk.
And I felt like I was there for a really good part of it.
Yeah.
Because there was this insane battle happening, especially for third place for a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, it was places 3, 4, 5, and 6, essentially, that were all battling amongst each other in the, I think it was GT3 Pro category.
Yeah.
And so we had a BMW, the BMW that we usually watch, the number 46 with Valentino Rossi. Happy birthday. So we were watching his car battle with, it was like a Porsche was involved, a Corvette was involved. Was it Mercedes AMG also?
There was a McLaren.
Oh, a McLaren was also. I mean, it was so fun to watch because Bathurst, I mean, I've never driven it. You have
Phillip Island,
you have more experience with it. Mount Panorama is
Panorama
is Bathurst.
Phillip Island
is separate.
Yeah.
But I've never driven on there even like virtually, so I don't have an experience. You might have a little bit more to say about it, but like watching it, it's so recognizable, the track, with this part where it's kind of,
it goes like uphill,
very curvy uphill, and then very curvy downhill with very little or almost no runoff area.
Yeah, no room for error,
really no room for error. And that's also where errors can happen, or there was some really mean crashes last year. Also this year we had 2 bigger crashes, I think. The
race was red flagged. I think within the first 3 laps or first lap, there was a Mustang that was also racing, crashed out, because the Bathurst race also starts at night for Australians. They start at night, and it's pitch black. It is so dark. And
what you said yesterday while we were watching it also, that you like to consider it the Nordschleife of that part of the world, aka the Südschleife.
Yes, I mean, obviously the track is much shorter.
Yes.
It's closer to like I think it's like 2-minute lap time, around that. I'm not quite sure, depending on the car, I guess. And so I did actually do some laps around it this morning.
Oh, okay, nice.
And so I first did it in a Porsche in the rain, actually. I was like, you know what, let me just try it in the rain, because I was familiar with the track because I've raced it quite a bit on GT7, but I've never really raced it on iRacing. So then I was like, okay, let me just put it on. Let me just see how it is. Like, I was like, if I'm going to do it, maybe in the worst conditions you could. The only thing it wasn't dark.
Oh, okay, fair.
And it was so much fun because if you get it, it feels like so good.
I believe it. Yeah.
It is the uphill and downhill section is like there's no room for error. There's no room for grace. Like,
well, it's also because
if you do one wrong move, you're in the barrier.
Yeah, and then also there's a lot of, or especially once you go from up to down, there's like blind spots.
Even going up, there's a lot of like corners that you can't see until you're almost in it,
which is crazy.
So you really do have to know the track. And then I also raced it in an F4 car. And that was also a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And one time I spun out and I was lucky that I didn't hit anything. And I was like, I don't know how that happened.
Nice.
But it is a really, really fun track. Is it as difficult as the Nordschleife? No, of course not. This is the Nordschleife. There's nothing out there like it, you know?
Fair.
But it has some reminiscence where it's like, oh my God, you can't really see and you're just sending it, right? And it is like a higher difficulty track. I was thinking while I was racing on it, that track would be the perfect replacement for Monaco. And here's the reason why.
Interesting.
Because the F1 cars are so big, it still would make it difficult to race, right? It still makes it difficult to overtake. And I'm not even sure if an F1 car, how it would maneuver around it,
Fair.
right? Because they are so long. But because there are straights there, there is opportunity for overtaking. And we've seen plenty of overtaking, of course, in GT cars.
Yeah.
But I do believe because at the end of the track you have a long straight and you have more margins to overtake. So I'm like, if we're already going to have a track that is insanely difficult, no runoff, right? Then might as well do a track that has some straights where you can at least do a little bit overtake because nothing is happening in Monaco anymore, right?
But I mean, overall, I thought it was a really fun race. At least the bits and pieces that I had seen. The battling on track was insane. I mean, it was so action packed, and because of we had multiple safety cars, especially also towards the end, it really had a big play into strategy in terms of who's driving it at the end. Of course, fuel and everything that goes into it, which made it interesting. And you really didn't know until probably the last 5 minutes how potentially the top three will pan out.
Yeah, I mean, so the Mercedes that ended up winning, right? The what was it? The 888 car. That car was sitting for the longest time in second place.
Yes.
There was another Mercedes that was in first, but that Mercedes, the driver, made a mistake, put it into the barrier, and I think they had to go get repairs or the car had to be retired. I can't remember. A lot happens in, the 12 hours. So then the other Mercedes was actually originally in second place, and then it made an very ambitious overtake on the BMW, not the 46, a different one that ended up dropping back. I will say the BMW was moving under braking, so it wasn't like it was overtly aggressive on the BMW, and it is to this degree where I'm like, the BMW took a lot of damage from it, and the BMW also had to end up going to the pits. They just ripped off the body parts, and they were just like, go. But this could have ended really badly for the Mercedes driver as well. So, and I agree with one of the teammates that was interviewed that was part of the BMW team. It's like, this is not the last corner and of the last lap.
Yes.
You didn't have to be as aggressive.
Fair.
And while the other driver was doing something that he wasn't supposed to, and that's why there was then also ended up being contact and stuff like this, it was overtly aggressive. It was a little bit too aggressive for what the stakes are. You got away with it lucky. There was also, as far as I can tell, you ended up no penalties and stuff like that. But I was like, this could have ended up really badly for you. And you, on a different day, you would have gotten away with a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Or you've taken away a lot of damage and you would have not finished in first.
Yes.
But either way, then that second place, the 911 Porsche, wasn't in contention for the longest time for the podium. Wasn't even, I think, for the longest time in top 5. And then all of a sudden, it just showed up that last safety car around 40 minutes, I think it was, just really shuffle things around, or 50-minute window. And
the Porsche 911 was not even in the pro category. It's in the bronze category. So also
fantastic.
Hat off to them. Great job. Definitely recommend if you guys have the time to tune into it. I mean, it's on YouTube for people still to watch, I believe. Yeah. So you can, even if you just watch the last 4 hours or something, is so much fun. Or even the last 2.5 hours. I think you can see
so much action
in it. Super worth it. I'm glad we ended up watching it, or I joined you for watching it, because it was really, really interesting.
It was, of course, there was the red flag event, which that one was the most horrible. There was one other terrible accident where an Audi caught the barrier and also caught on flames.
Yeah.
And I don't think you saw that one. But then the other one, there was an issue with, I guess, the radios in race.
Oh yes, that
the
one
race
looked
direction.
so bad.
So there was a Porsche that was turned around. Then an Aston Martin came. This was all when you're coming down the hill, so you can't see anything. It's literally blind. And that Aston Martin was able to avoid the Porsche, but it was kind of parked. So they were blocked. And then the Mercedes that was technically at the time leading the race just straight with the front into the Porsche on flames. The driver ended up crawling out of the car because he seemed just like, I think, the shock in itself.
I mean, the force of it looked so huge. I mean, because he came 100% around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, he did hit the brakes, but by the time you there was no room to avoid it.
Yeah.
Because on the left was the Aston Martin, and then on the other side was the Porsche, and then a bunch of other cars came behind.
Yeah.
They ended up all avoiding that mess, which was insane.
Yeah.
I think one of the cars ended up picking up a puncture because of the red flag. However, I think Race Direction did allow tires to be changed. I can't remember.
Gotcha.
Because they do need, it's not like where in F1 you're just allowed to. In the Bathurst, they have to get, Race Direction has to say like you're allowed to do that.
Oh, gotcha.
They have to give the okay.
Yeah.
We almost also got a little bit of rain.
That's so true. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember we were watching it and then you had looked up the time,
Yeah.
the local time, and then also the weather, and then it was like, 25% rain, and I was like,
25% chance.
yeah, it's not gonna rain, and then all of a sudden it got darker. You could see like tiny little raindrops even on one of the cameras in like a specific part of the track. So there was like a moment of like, ooh, is that gonna make change things?
That would have been insane.
Yes.
Because come on.
Yeah.
But so I think for the race itself, it would have been awesome. I don't know if it would have led to probably to more yellow or like full course
Probably.
safety cars or safety cars in general. But I would have hated it for all the people watching live there because there's so many people that have like the barbecue out and they're out there camping and grilling. And then obviously for them, you would like the weather to hold up.
Yes.
But as a viewer from home, indoors, I'm like, let it rain.
Give me rain. Yes, no, for sure.
But yeah, I'd highly recommend checking it out. And you know, this once again just shows those GT3 cars are so competitive. Like you don't need DRS to race, right? You don't need any of this. They're so fun to watch because they are a little bit like bullies, right?
Oh,
they're not afraid of contact. And then the BMW, it just looks so mean. The M4 GT3 Evo, it is, and it's such a bully.
Yes, and I mean we've seen versions of it on tracks before, and it's also we were talking about it yesterday when we were watching it. It just the sound of it matches its look. It's so aggressive, and it's so fun. And I love, like you said, I love that they have their elbows out a little. There's a little bit of touching, not too much, but there's so much great battling. Also because they're different cars. Some of them are faster in the corners, some of them are faster on the straights, and then figuring that out with the slipstream. And then if you let one person through, you have to be careful if things are too close. Another person gets slingshotted around. So it was really great 12-hour race in Bathurst,
absolutely.
for sure.
It was fantastic. I think also like the BMW compared to like the Audi, the Mercedes, and the McLaren, it just looks like a bully. I think the Porsche can look aggressive in the right colors.
For sure.
In the right colors, it can look quite aggressive, but nothing looks like you're like good old, like almost like it's German, right? But bulldog. Like,
because it's the car seems so stocky, and you have this aggressive snout in the front. Obviously, some people don't like it because it looks so much like a pig nose. But on this version of the car, I love it.
I think there are other versions of the BMW that it doesn't look as good, but I think on the M4, like this, I think it looks awesome.
100%. But I think we can move on to the next thing that I watched over the weekend. Of course, as promised, I'm watching more rally this year.
Yes.